3:40 local time, Camp Buehring, northwestern Kuwait. It was supposed to be another routine war night. An American maintenance crew stood beneath an AH-64 Apache, pulling a turbine engine from the airframe under floodlights that cut across the desert darkness. For 8 straight days, this patch of sand had stayed untouched. That changed in seconds. Unknown to everyone on base, a salvo of Iranian Fateh 313 ballistic missiles had launched just 8 minutes earlier. Now, they were screaming down in their terminal arc at nearly 3 times the speed of sound. Their target? The helicopter flight line. At 3:41, the alarm tore across the base. Soldiers jumped from bunks and sprinted toward concrete shelters in whatever they had on. Some barefoot, some half-dressed, all running. On the perimeter, the MIM-104 Patriot battery came alive. Its AN-MPQ 6.5 phased array radar painted 5 inbound ballistic contacts descending from the southeast. The system instantly prioritized the most dangerous tracks. Then the desert exploded with light. PAC-3 MSE interceptors launched in pairs. White exhaust trails lit the night like camera flashes. At combined closure speeds above Mach 6, the interceptors ripped upward. These missiles carry no explosive warhead. They don't need one. At that speed, the missile body itself becomes the weapon, like smashing one baseball into another, except both are traveling over 4,000 miles per hour. 3 of the 5 warheads were destroyed in under 40 seconds. The Patriot crew did everything right. This wasn't a crew failure. This was geometry. And Iran had built the entire strike around that gap. While the Patriot radar remained locked southeast on ballistic arcs, something else had been approaching for the last 40 minutes. From the south. Low. Silent. 3 Shahed 136 loitering munitions, flying barely 100 feet above the desert floor. Small enough on radar to resemble birds. Cheap enough to be expendable. At around $30,000 each, they were flying straight past a defense system built to intercept multi-million-dollar ballistic threats. Iran had done the math. A $4 million interceptor versus a drone, cheaper than some civilian pickup trucks. At 3:42, the first Fateh warhead hit. The helicopter maintenance zone vanished in flame. 2 Apache fuselages were shredded. Part of the hangar collapsed. The crew that had been working there 90 seconds earlier survived only because the alarm gave them seconds to move. Then the second warhead hit the fuel depot. The desert sky turned orange. A rolling fireball expanded outward faster than any man could run. Black smoke punched into the pre-dawn sky. Then came the drones. At 3:43, a Shahed struck the base command building. 1 hit. 1 room. And the base lost its coordination nerve center. Camp Buehring was burning. 400 miles away, an IRGC battery commander received confirmation for 3 seconds. He smiled. Then he ordered immediate relocation. Launcher down. Drive north. Standard doctrine. 20 minutes to disappear before American ISR finds you? What he didn't know? The answer was already preparing to launch. At Ahmed Al-Jaber Air Base, the orange glow from Camp Buehring's fires was visible on the horizon. Someone owed the Army a receipt. 4 F-15E Strike Eagle aircraft sat loaded for exactly this kind of night. GBU-31 JDAMs on the center line, GBU-39 small diameter bombs across the wings. Nearly 92,000 pounds of precision-guided ordnance across 4 aircraft. Twin engines. Mach 2.5 capability. 1,000-mile combat radius. Built to fly deep into enemy territory and destroy things not meant to survive. Tonight, they were doing exactly that. At 3:53, Rage Flight launched. Afterburners lit. The desert shook. 4 Strike Eagles climbed hard into the night. Iran had hit an American base, set American aircraft on fire, forced American soldiers into bunkers. This was the reply. The first problem came immediately. The MQ-9 Reaper ISR feed showed where the launchers had been, but the IRGC crew had already been moving for 12 minutes. Those coordinates were stale. The launchers had a tunnel entrance just 4 kilometers ahead. If they reached it, they disappeared. At 4:10, Rage Flight crossed the Iranian coastline. Iran's air defenses had been degraded heavily over the previous week, but not destroyed. The surviving 10% were the smart ones, the hidden ones, and one of them was waiting. A Tor M1, mobile, self-contained, search radar, track radar, 8 ready missiles, all on one armored chassis. Built to protect exactly these launchers, at 4:12, Rage 01's warning receiver caught a 3-second radar burst. Not enough for a harm, not enough for passive destruction. The only way through, force the Tor to expose itself. The pilot descended deliberately from 25,000 feet to 15,000. A calculated provocation. If the Tor stayed dark, the WSO could identify the launchers. If it went active, it gave away its address. The Tor commander chose to fight. Continuous fire control radar. The cockpit screamed, but now the WSO had what he needed. A full coordinate lock. A GBU-39 small diameter bomb dropped silently. At the same moment, the Tor fired. 1 missile. Mach 2.5. 4 seconds warning. The pilot broke hard left. 6 Gs. Chaff burst into the slipstream. At 800 feet above the desert floor, the missile overshot. Seconds later, the SDB arrived. The Tor disappeared in a fireball. The Tariq was open. At 15,000 feet, the sniper pod sharpened. Heat blobs became vehicle outlines. 2 launchers. Still hot, still mounted. 1 kilometer short of the tunnel entrance. The same launchers that hit Camp Buehring. First strike, GBU-39. Lead launcher erased. Second strike, GBU-31. Nothing within 50 meters survived. The launchers were gone, but Rage Flight wasn't finished. They turned south toward the IRGC naval compound that had planned the entire strike. 4 JDAMs released in sequence. Command building, communications center, fast attack boat shelter, fuel depot. Every critical structure disappeared under blast and overpressure. The commander, who celebrated for 3 seconds, received the news an hour later. His launchers, gone. His escort, gone. His command compound, gone. Camp Buehring burned for hours. But America's answer left nothing standing.